The month of April, in case you didn't know, is Stress Awareness Month. Kind of makes me laugh. It's a month that we can take to be aware of our stress. But seriously, it's a good time to be aware of our stress and find some healthy ways to help us deal. We all have stress in our lives, and some stress isn't bad, but regardless, we all have a bit of it. Councillor Craig joins us back today to talk about stress and share some tips and to share some of his own personal story of dealing with stress, which actually led to panic attacks. Hello, Councillor Craig.
Hello, Lizzie.
It's the
Good to
spot.
see you.
You too. It's the spotlight on you today. You are sitting in the councillor chair, and we get to ask
Great.
you. I love that. So,
Oh,
panic attacks. You had a journey of stress that led to that.
mm,
What was sort of going on for you at that time of
mm.
your life?
Yeah, at the time, I had no idea. I'd probably had what you could have related as a panic attack once years ago, but at the time, in a different life, in a different vocation, I had a partnership in a technology company, and it grew, and the demands grew, and the capacity was more expectations. But I remember one particular night working at a job there was no need for me to be there, but as the boss, I wanted to be there. But I remember I got home at 3 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't sleeping that well. But as I came out of the building, I remember just kind of involuntarily kind of wanting to throw up. And I thought, oh, that's not good. So I thought, okay. Um, And then I tried to put myself to sleep, and I just could not sleep. And I tossed and I turned, and what I recognized was my breathing was starting to go a little bit more intense and a little bit more erratic. And um, I think I kind of hit my lovely wife in kind of a panic, and I actually thought I was having a heart attack,
Yeah.
and because I had no reference like what was happening. And so she kind of got up in a panic, rang the ambulance, and the ambos came, checked me out, found a kind of an irregular heartbeat that was enough to kind of like, we think we should take you in.
Yeah.
Got into the hospital, ED at about 4 o'clock in the morning, thinking, firstly, kind of like, what an idiot, you know. It was just a panic attack.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I hear more about people talking about panic attacks in the moment. You're not really wise. You're just kind of trying to deal with what's going on for you. And so I learned a lot about panic attacks and learned I guess, my width of resilience. Kind of understood this wasn't just a panic attack; it was a process. There were things that were happening around me
Yeah.
that I just kind of absorbed
Yeah. And do you
and
think
tried
that's a
to
big part of it? It's just that you're on autopilot. I've got to do this. I have this responsibility. And
definitely.
you just keep going and going and going. And then the body says, hold on. Yeah, not happy about this.
Definitely. If you don't push the brake button, your body will, some way, somehow.
Mm,
Definitely.
yeah. And look, you're not the first person. You're not the only person in the room who ended up at a hospital once thinking they were having
Oh,
a heart attack when they were having a panic attack. And that was over 20 years ago for me. So, I mean, everything's just speeding, isn't it? It's horrible. You literally feel so out of control. And it's very normal to actually think that you're having a heart attack. And I'm sure EDs up and down the country and around the world are probably used to people turning up. And then that can be a wake up call, though, can't it? It can actually be perhaps a blessing in disguise. Something's going on here. I need to address it.
well, the big thing that I remember lying in ED and having confirmed that it was a panic attack, not a heart attack, I had this moment of almost permission giving to just stop and
Fuel.
go, all of those things that were concerning me are still there, but they're not my responsibility. I can't do anything about it that I thought I could. So it gave me a great perspective to move on from. But I have no shame in telling people that I had a panic attack.
Me either.
It's very normal. Well, I say it's normal. It's normal in the process of not paying attention to the signs.
Yeah, and extreme stress. And some of it, is things that happen that we can't control. I mean, I just had a baby and I was unwell and I wasn't sleeping. And, there's a lot of factors that can go on in life that we actually have no control on. But you obviously made some changes. So what helped you in terms of dealing with your stress and, not wanting to go down the panic attack road too often?
You'll laugh at this. What really helped, we sold the company.
Oh, yes. Well, I don't know if that's that funny. I mean, I've known you for a number of years and I know that, you used to be in business and now you're in a different kind of business. So that was a big life change. You were like, this ain't serving me. This isn't good for me and my family. I'm gonna get out of here.
Well, and I do say that there was some divine intervention because prior to that, no one had registered an interest in buying us at all. And then this came and a couple of other events. And then we found ourselves like 3 people wanting to buy the company. So I thought, this may be a good off-ramp right here and now.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. But certainly, I certainly addressed some of the demands that I put on myself, the expectations that I put.
And that's interesting, isn't it? Because we can feel that we've got all these things going on in our lives, which we do. But something that I'm recognizing in my own life is the story we tell ourselves. So what's the story? Well, I have to get this done today and this needs to be done like that. Oh, okay, so who's telling you that? Well, me. Me.
Yep.
And
yep.
Yeah, I think, is it about putting ourselves more in the driver's seat of our lives and going, okay, what can I control and what choices can I make? They might not be to the extreme of leaving a job or selling a business, but there's things that we can do, right?
Yeah, and it might sound obvious, but not always, that panic attacks are about anxiety, and anxiety is often something about the future.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah.
And so we are wrestling with futuristic ideas, and God asks us just to be present today, just for what we can do today.
Oh my gosh. So that's just a bit of a light bulb moment in terms of us being humans on the face of the planet. As the Bible says, we can't take care of yesterday. We can't take care of the future. We can only live in the now and we can only deal with the now, right?
Yeah, but the world is really we are kind of trying to look into the future to try and control some aspect of things in our lives that we can't.
Yeah.
But if we feel like we can control them, then our life will be calmer. But it's about presence with today and what we can do today.
And so,
really.
So what are some things that we can do?
Well, I found great help in meditation, in contemplation, just kind of being present early on in the day, the beginning of the day, just kind of like, even if it's just sitting with my coffee, looking outside.
Quiet time.
You
might look at your Bible.
I might on rare occasions look at my Bible. Yes. But sometimes I'm really just being present with my mind.
Yeah. So you're just creating space, a moment to breathe. Like imagine yourself on a beach and, there's the wind and there's the scent of the salt water, and that we can kind of find those little pockets of times in our lives, right? To refresh ourselves, to center ourselves for the day. And I love how people say, look, I don't have time to meditate. And I go, well, what do you think that suggests? Yeah. I mean, the Bible talks about meditating, right? And I know some people get a bit freaked out by that word, like,
right.
But it's just taking a moment, isn't it? I mean, one of my favorite things is soaking, in God's presence, which is, meditating, but usually got some sort of classical kind of music on, something gentle. There's generally no words, and there's just this space to be. And I find it very healing and refreshing. I mean, I have things that I pretty much do every day. And I feel like I have to do them for this job or just being a human on the face of the planet. But I would imagine you as a counsellor, you've got all those clients, you've got to have something to give from, right? You've got to be
Yes.
refreshed. Yeah.
Yep. I don't know many counsellors that really do it that well in terms
Okay.
of like refreshing, because it's a constant reminder that we need to take care of ourselves. And yes, if meditation's a bit of a difficult kind of idea or word to use, I am just so enormously grateful and practice gratitude for all things, not just the happy things, but also maybe some of the challenges which help me. So I'm just grateful, and it worked. It's helped me enormously.
Yeah. So gratitude, you sold the business. What else might have helped?
I downsized our lives in terms of expectations and busyness. Made it really simple. And then it's not getting trapped in the consumerism
Keeping
that
up with the
like
Joneses.
yeah, expectations of others is probably, well, again, my expectations of what I think others were thinking about what they needed from me. And like, sorry to say, this is all about me.
Yeah, it is, because we're talking about stress awareness, so we got to talk about ourselves, right?
Yeah.
In the time that I've known you, you've always seemed to me, and we don't see each other a whole lot, but you always seem like a real chill dude. Are you saying that you weren't once? Well, if you were off having panic attacks, I guess you weren't.
No, the very short story is I have learned, and probably in the last 15 years, that anxiety has been my norm. But I've lived it. I've just not kind of seen what not being anxious has been like, a life not filled with anxiety. It's just kind of it traveled along with me, and then I had this moment and going, oh, that's anxiety.
Yeah.
That's anxiety.
Yeah.
So
And then you made some choices, but as I've learned in my own life, it's like we can, I think I'm right, we can retrain our nervous system, right? Because if we're
totally.
always in the anxiety lane, and then we go, okay, no, actually, I want to live a different way, we can actually begin to, and that's perhaps another conversation. We've probably run out of time for that, but just because we've been stuck in that loop, we don't have to. And you're a living example. You say 15 years. It's probably about the length of time I've known you. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep, definitely. And it's quite liberating. But if people take away from today is learn to breathe well.
Yeah, breathing is huge. And we're so, I'm like you notice you're a bit stressed and breathing goes all shallow.
Yes.
I've always done things in my life that it sounds ridiculous, but we've all needed to breathe. But, like when I was younger, I played the saxophone. I'm a singer. Swimming, you have to learn to swim with your lungs on the water. There's a whole lot of things that have to think a lot about breathing. Public speaking, you got to have enough breath in your lungs. And they're really good things to focus on, I think, for anyone, just the art of learning to breathe well. You get enough of the right stuff in, the oxygen, it refreshes you, it calms you, you can think clearer. Yeah.
Totally.
Hey, well, thank you for our conversation today, giving us a little bit of a sneak behind the curtain on your life and what great choices you made. And just a reminder to all of us that we all have stress, but we can make a choice and put ourselves in the driver's seat and take care of what we can take care of in our lives. And then, like Craig, you don't have to wake your wife up in the middle of the night having a panic attack.
I don't recommend it.
Hey, Councillor Craig, thanks so much for your time. Look forward to catching up with you next month.
Thanks, Lizzie.